Welcome to Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in to Dodgers Dogs again on a beautiful Sunday evening. At least it is here in the state of Oklahoma. Let me go ahead and get that killed right there. I do that every time. Okay, so what a great show we have for you tonight. Just a lot of action to talk about. A lot of action with all of the guys that we know are going to be on the 26-man roster. The superstar power like the Tyler Glasnows, the Blake Snells who gave up 4 runs today, Freddy Freeman who just had an awesome home run the other day. If you go to my social medias, I actually kind of broke down a little bit of just kind of what makes him the reason why he is such a great hitter and also a guy that can hit home runs. And so if you go to I can't necessarily play them as far as on the live feed because then it tags me and then I only get a certain amount of that. But we're going to talk about Freddy Freeman. We're going to talk about the series coming up in Tokyo. And then, of course, we're going to talk about all of the great action that has happened with the prospects. Not probably going to get into the spring breakout game tonight. Going to get into that a little bit more as we move on. That's always exciting. Last year was a lot of fun. Jared Karros had a great game in that game, and that's where Edgardo Henriquez, at least for me, the first time, it's like, wow. I mean, he just stuck out like a sore thumb because he was that good. So we will cover the spring breakout game quite a bit, but there is so much action to talk about. We did not have a show Friday night because where's the Dodgers game Friday night? And it was a great game, and there was a lot of action in that. And then obviously spent all day Saturday at the farm, spent all day today at the farm. And so now getting home and watch some Dodgers baseball and good to see James Outman hit a home run. Good to see Andy Pages have a good piece of hitting and hit that ball up the middle on a breaking ball away from him. So we're going to get into all those conversations. And at 7:45 my time, 5:45 Pacific time, we're going to be joined by Coach Holt. I can't wait because Coach Holt has a lot to say about the way spring training is going right now and all of the goings on. So super excited about tonight's show. I am so glad that you guys decided to tune in. So the first guy that I really wanted to talk about today was Tyler Glasnow. Let me get to my Tyler Glasnow. Actually, let's talk about Dustin May first. Okay, Dustin May, and let me click this over, and I'm going to go ahead and play this on the screen and see if you can't see it here. And I'm going to play it right there. There's Dustin May, you see right here on your screen. So Dustin May, 94-96 on the sinker, 92-93 on the cutter, which, hey, the 94-96, that will increase. But he also had a curveball that was exactly 10 miles an hour off its fastball. So whatever off speed it is that you have, you want it to be exactly 10 off because that's slow enough, obviously, to mess up the timing of a hitter. But then also it's fast enough to where they can't just reset and then, kind of do that Bugs Bunny where you swing like twice at a type of deal. So the big deal was the curveball was exactly 10 miles an hour off of the fastball. And then his fastball, again, the velo will continue to climb. There's no doubt about that. I have no doubt about that. I think his sinker is as a 97, 98, 96, 97, 98 pitch. That's where he will be as he goes on. So average exit velo on the sinker was only 72 miles an hour. So why is that a big deal? Obviously, inducing weak contact is obviously a big deal because what that means is that Dustin May is able to throw his fastball in the zone for strikes and challenge hitters and get them out without having to induce swing and miss on pitches and chase on his curveball that's out of the zone. So he did not land his curveball for a strike enough. It was 27% that he landed his curveball. That needs to come up, but that magic number, I'm telling you, when guys throw their fastball for a 60% clip for strikes, that's like a magic number for them. And he was right at like 58%. And so it's one thing to throw your fastball in the zone for a strike. It's another to throw it 60%, 58% in the zone for a strike, and then get 72 mile an hour average exit velo off of it. So the velo is going to continue to bump. The curveball needs to get in the zone more. But I'll tell you what, and the last time we talked about Dustin May, my comment on him was, at this point, he's stuff over execution. The other day, the execution wasn't perfect with the curveball, no doubt about that. And he could throw a few more strikes with the fastball maybe. But boy, his execution, the thing about that outing to me for Dustin May was that the execution took a big bump for him. And so really, I mean, and if you look at the link that he gave, I said in our last show with Austin on Wednesday, squarely, I thought at that point, and I still think it, that Tony Gonsolin is the number 5 starter, if you don't count Ohtani, which it looks like Ohtani's not going to pitch for a while. 6th starter when Ohtani does start becoming a part of the starting rotation for the Dodgers. But I'll tell you what, if Dustin May continues to spike his execution and then that velo gets up around 98, like he's capable with 25 inches of combined movement on that sinker of right turn and depth, then it's going to be a great problem for the Dodgers to have to figure out who should be that 5th starter / 6th starter tonight. So, hey, we have a great crowd logging in. Let's go Dodgers. Jose Ayala and Showtime LA. Don't think Josue will be in Great Lakes very long, most likely to spend most of the season in Tulsa. I hope that means I would get to see him quite a bit. So Josue de Paula, one of the top prospects for the Dodgers. I'll be curious to see how he hits Double-A pitching. The numbers and the statistics to this point in his career really haven't been all that great. And then also, when you look at his situation, he hits kind of the lower launch angles, which doesn't tend to get the ball in the air, which doesn't translate necessarily to a whole lot of home runs. But then he's not a speed guy, so there's a little bit of a tweener to his game. And then I'm really curious to see how he handles Double-A pitching and guys that can execute over and over and over. So I think this is a big deal for a big year for Josue de Paula, no doubt about that. Freddy Freeman hit a home run the other night, and man, it was an absolute thing of beauty. Freddy Freeman, just when you look at his swing, I mean, it is not old school, it is not new school, it is just absolutely the right school. I mean, he turns the barrel down to the ball. He doesn't let the barrel go below his hands until the ball is deep, until he slotted the back elbow. He loads on the balls of his feet. He drops the back heel, and when he drops the back heel, that's when he initiates his swing. That's a timing mechanism that is age-old. That is a swing mechanism in terms of path to the baseball that is classic. And again, it's not old school. It's not new school. It's just absolutely perfect. That's why guys like Freddy Freeman can hit home runs, and then they can also hit for average like Freddy Freeman, I think 7 years in a row, over 300, just remarkably consistent. So that home run for Freddy Freeman was fun to watch the other night. And Michael Conforto didn't have a great day today, but coming into today, he had 3 hits on Saturday. Dodgers scored a couple runs. So he was 4 at one point. He was 4 for his last 8, and that was all of his at-bats in March. And so up to 267, OPS 836. It looks like to me Michael Conforto really is rounding into shape, and it's going to be exciting to see what he can bring this team. You know, when you look at whenever I broke it down, away from San Francisco, Michael Conforto was very good, and then day games, Michael Conforto was very good. And so whenever you have a day game not in San Francisco, even better for Michael Conforto. And he had 3 hits on, I believe it was Saturday, in the day game there. So it was good to see him there. And then also another part of this equation, a big part of the Dodgers equation, Will Smith. Will Smith threw out a runner. If you notice, his ball tails, but it tails towards the runner, which actually kind of increases his pop time. So there's a couple of ways that you can cover the bag. You can straddle and drop the glove, or the defender can set up in front of the bag, and then usually they swipe. Nowadays, they like to just put their glove on their back leg and then just drop, so they kind of get the best of both worlds. They get the athletic ability of being in front of the bag, but yet they let the ball travel by letting the ball get deep into their glove and just dropping. And that's the way the Dodgers do it. But the problem is Will Smith's ball kind of tails towards first base. So as a defender, you kind of got to go get it. But there's good and bad to that because it's going into the runner, and then the more that you do that, it's actually lowering the pop time of Will Smith. So pretty much an average pop time at the major league levels about 2.0. That's not great. That's not bad. That would be pretty standard. So on the throw out for Will Smith the other day that he had on Saturday, it was a 185. 185 for Will Smith. That's why he threw out more runners in the game of baseball than any other catcher last year. Because, so yeah, the miles per hour, the velo, all of that, but they've actually done the science. The ball will get to your destination. Now, there's obviously levels and degrees that can change this, but by and large, the ball will get to your target faster by having a quicker release than it will be by putting more velo on it. So taking more time but adding velo to it actually reduces the time it takes for a ball to get from one spot to the next. So the quick release is what you're looking for, especially like for a middle infielder, catchers trying to throw out runners. Will Smith definitely has that. The 185 pop time was absolutely awesome. And then Will Smith combined that with a home run at 103.1 miles per hour. So if you can have a catcher that can throw out a runner and then hit a home run and grab about 2 or 3 RBIs, so what that catcher has done is shut down the other team's running game, which could save you gosh knows how many runs in a game, and then added 2 or 3 runs of his own. That performance right there from a catcher could be worth 5 runs in one game. That's how valuable it is to have a catcher that can throw runners out and then also be able to hit home runs like Will Smith did the other day. So we're going to get into some Jackson Ferris. I am not going to show his video of his last performance just because I don't want to get hit for that, and then we can actually talk about Jackson Ferris all we want if we do it like this. So there's Jackson Ferris right there. His first inning the other day was just absolutely awesome. I mean, he came out and struck out the side. He walked off the mound. The thing about him, as you watch him, that you want to notice about Jackson Ferris is the confidence. I mean, he just walks off the mound. This dude expects to be a major leaguer. He expects to be a high-level major leaguer. And then he has that big sweeper, that one right there. He can change shapes with it. The velo is about 94, 95, by the way. He made a good pitch to our good friend Nick Ahmed. We all remember Nick Ahmed last year. Nick Ahmed is the one who actually hit the home run off of Jackson Ferris. Let me go ahead and change that video so you can get a different look of Jackson Ferris here, and we'll get a look at him. So last year, total success. Ferris threw his slider the most, his fastball in his last outing. Let's go back to his last outing. He threw his slider the most. So you talk about a young man whose execution, his stuff is great, but execution over stuff. Threw the slider the most. Fastball was 95, 96. That's pretty fantastic. And also the double that Haggerty hit, well-located pitch. If you go back on my social media, it's a 4-seam down and away. Nick Ahmed hit a good pitch. So sometimes it was buried down and away as well and working away. And so sometimes you just got to tip your hat. That's where I'm at with the runs he gave up the other day. But he averaged going into like 6 innings per start several different times last year. His ERA was minuscule. Last year for Jackson Ferris was an absolute total success. I've had the question asked, does he have the most upside of any of the young pitchers in the system? And that's a very difficult question to ask because when you look at raw stuff, there's a lot of guys in this system that have a lot of raw stuff. And it's, again, I'll say this, it's hard to evaluate until they get up to about AA and you see them have to execute this and that. Ben Casparius is the exact example of that. Look how good Ben Casparius looks now. We're going to get into him here in just a minute. And we're going to get Coach Holt on the horn here in just a second. As soon as he logs in, we're going to flip over to him. But Jackson Ferris looked just absolutely fantastic and wanted to cover him and just, kind of talk about the The execution piece, he did give up the home run to Nick Ahmed. He gave up the double to Haggerty, but I thought they were both really good pitches, so absolutely nothing to worry about there. There is Coach Holt on the line right there, so we are going to flip over to Coach Holt right now, and we are going to There we go. Okay, Coach Holt is on the phone right there. Coach, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great, Case. Beautiful Sunday evening in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Hey, man, let me ask you this. Okay, so the Dodgers won the 8 games in a row. They did not win today. But having said that, this was a long winning streak. You kind of, I mean, you have a lot of experience with this. It's kind of a twofold deal. You're trying to get a whole lot of at-bats for the different guys. You're trying to get a lot of at-bats for younger guys. But there is this piece to it to where you don't want to just like lose all your games. I mean, you don't want to get just kind of that vibe to where winning's not important. So it's kind of a weird deal where winning isn't important in spring training, but at some point it has to be. It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Well, things have kind of changed, Case, with the Dodgers and the Cubs both fixing to go to Japan, kind of like the Dodgers and Padres did last year. Spring training type stuff has changed. I mean, this thing, I mean, we're looking at March 18th, the Dodgers get a first game against the Cubs, 18th and 19th. So they've got to get their guys, they got to get their studs, their work, but they also got to get these young guys, they got to get them a fair shake, if you want to call it, of their chance of making a ball club. I know some guys are making a run at it, still a couple of positions up for grabs there. So spring training is always a different vibe, but it's even more different now because it's earlier. I mean, we're getting on a plane going to Japan next week and playing games that count, and you never know. 2 games could be the difference in a division title at the end of the year. So the Cubs have strengthened themselves. It's going to be 2 tough games in Tokyo. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get up at 4:30 in the morning, even though I'm not teaching anymore. I'm just like, in a spring break. What the heck? A spring break in Oklahoma, but I'm going to get up and watch. But no, it's a different vibe, but the Dodgers and the Cubs both are under different guidelines this year in spring training. They're getting ready to play 2 meaningful games and then move on. So they don't have that luxury of they're kind of on a fast track, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I like the fact that you split your spring training up. So, if you listen to Tyler Glasnow talk the other day, he's not going to be one of the 2 that pitches in Tokyo. So his comment was, this is about the halfway point for me. So you have some guys on some schedules, like right now is a halfway point for Tyler Glasnow, but yet then when you look at maybe a Roki Sasaki or a Yoshii Yamamoto, they got to be ramping up. All the guys. And then I'll tell you another thing I love about this Tokyo deal. It will allow you to put like a Ben Casparius on the opening day roster or somebody like that. A Matt Sauer, we got word last night that Matt Sauer was going to I don't know if he's going to be on the 26th, but he is going to travel with the squad. And so I think it allows you to put those guys on the roster and then not necessarily have to have them on the roster at different points. So I think it allows you also to be creative with your roster.
Well, it's kind of a spring training 2.0 case. I mean,
yes, it is. It's like 2 different ones.
Yes, it's regular season, but it's 2.0. Matt Sauer, a guy who's come over from the Royals, who has made a big impression on the Dodgers. He gets to travel, so you're going to be able to use some people in a good situation, a tough situation against a good team. But so it's spring training 2.0. I don't know. The Dodgers have done it 2 years in a row, and didn't hurt them last year. Certainly didn't hurt the Padres last year. They had a great year also. And the Cubs look like they've made some improvements to their ball club. And, I can't wait to watch it. You're like me, Case. Back in the day, I hated the Braves because they were in the same division as the Dodgers. I always liked the Cubs because Harry's drunk and Steve Stone's trying to keep him from falling out of the booth. And every afternoon you watch the Cubs.
Hey, Harry,
Boo-boo spelled backwards is whatever. But anyway, that was awesome because I'm a baseball fan. I know you are too. I love watching the Cubs. And then Steve Stone will go, hey, he's going to throw him a slider on the outer half right here. He's going to roll over and hit a ground ball to the shortstop. They're going to roll to. 1 pitch later, it's exactly what Steve Stone said was going to happen. Exactly. I mean, every single time. And Harry just can't wait to get out of the bleachers and take his shirt off and drink beer with the guys. And love it. That's the beautiful part about that. So, I mean, I guess I'm a borderline, some time of a Cubs fan back in the day because we all got to watch them back in the day. Never could be a Braves fan, sorry, because they were in the same division, hated those guys. But it's one of those things that the Dodgers and the Cubs are just under different guidelines. They have things you got to do. They got to get going because these two count. And we've seen this in the past. We've gone down to the end of the regular season when you got to play one game to decide a division. Mm-hmm. These two games are very important, and the Dodgers are taking as such. I'm sure the Cubs are too, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. So it is just kind of like two different spring trainings. So it does put it a little bit more of a sense of urgency in terms of getting – because we know, hey, position players, they need about – 6-7 games, they're good to go. So spring training lasts as long, number one, because a lot of people like to come and watch, and that's more money in the bank for Major League Baseball and these organizations. That's number one. But then also pitchers, they need more time to get their arms ready. So I just like the fact that it breaks it up and it creates more urgency in your at-bats, because a guy like Freddy Freeman, like he hit a home run yesterday, has got to be thinking, well, dang, man, I'm like 8 at-bats away from this counting.
Yeah.
So I think it puts some – I mean, I'm just telling you, man, after about the 5th game as a regular, it's hard to not let your mind wander. So I really like how it puts urgency on it.
I do too. I mean, obviously the Dodgers are very popular all over the world, but especially Japan for obvious reasons. And the Cubs, the Cubs, everybody loves the Cubs. You used to call them the lovable losers. They won the World Series, but everybody likes the Cubs. So this is a great series, but I don't know. I like it for the fact that the Dodgers have a lot of things you got to look at, but they've got to win the games. I mean, it comes down to it. I mean, you're going to Tokyo to win, and they're very popular there for obvious reasons, like I said. And this is just a great time. I will say this, Case, this on a personal level. Me and Melissa had already made our plans to go to, Camelback during spring break. Maybe you had to to watch the Dodgers play. Then I get on the schedule a couple of months ago, and they're in freaking Tokyo during our spring break.
It makes it harder for guys that are further away.
Yes, I'm pissed off. I don't want to go out there and watch the Padres and the Mariners and, whatever. If I was going to watch anybody other than the Dodgers, it'd be the Cubs. Hell, they're in Japan too, so I'm not going. Yeah. So we're not going to Arizona, but I'll sit at home and watch it. So, by the way, Melissa, I was just talking to her if I went on the air. If you want to send us Dodgers Daily to Japan, we got a place to stay. Our nephew lives in Tokyo, going to Temple University. We got a place to stay. All we need is plane tickets and tickets to the game. So
I'll ask my wife, see what she says.
Yeah, see what Dodgers Daily has going there. Give it to Austin. Austin's a big money guy. Him and Barikoff, they're the big money guys. If they need a correspondent in Tokyo, Melissa and I are ready to go. But we were ready to go to Arizona. It didn't work out, but we'll do it next year. That's a
Coach,
great
what has stuck out to you on what stuck out to you? Has there been anything that's disappointed you in terms of maybe some production from certain people, or anything that stuck out to you like, oh wow, I didn't expect that? Or what has that been for you? What's the vibe for you for spring training? I don't think there's any big major surprises. I feel a little sadness that Altman's having a tough time. Yeah, I know Dave has approached that. We love Altman. He's a great body. Yeah, I can't relax.
Hit 23 homers, 2 years ago for us. I mean, he's a great talent, and I don't know the kid. I don't know the kid. Maybe you do, Case. You probably do have a relationship with him. I don't. I feel bad for him because it's not working out. It doesn't look like it's working out, and basically Kim's not working out, from what I understand. Yeah. I guess that's the biggest disappointment. Of course, Kim's a young guy. He comes in. He's not hitting off Japanese pitchers now. He's hitting off the best pitchers in the world, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things going on there, and if these two young guys continue to work and do what they got to do, they'll have their opportunities. So I guess not disappointing more than sad for those two guys having a tough time. We know what our dudes are going to do. I hate seeing Michael Grove going to be out for the year now. Yeah. He's close to being there where the Dodgers need him to be, and you're dealing with that. And you hope Dustin May is going to continue to stay healthy. So I don't see any major disappointments other than you just hope and pray these guys stay healthy. And I guess it disappointed me, having to back off Shohei's deal, as far as pitching. But let's face it, Case, we've never seen anything like this. Yeah. It's like Deion Sanders is a great athlete. He played for
nobody's seen anything like this.
No, nobody's seen anything like this. Deion was great. He played the major leagues. He played in the NFL, but he wasn't a great major league player. He was a good major league player. He's good enough to play there. He's a great athlete. Brian, you look at Bo Jackson was a freak. If he hadn't got hurt, he would have done things. So we haven't seen anything like a guy who's could be the greatest DH to ever live. It might be one of the greatest pitchers ever lived. So there's a lot of things, but he can't concentrate. He's going to have to back off the pitching, but he can't back off the DH work. So it's a different situation for the Dodgers with Shohei because he's still getting his work in. He's in the middle. He's leading he's got to be in the lineup to get work done. The pitching, they'll do it. And they've done a great job from what I'm not there. I'm not in the meetings. I don't have any intel. I'm just an old coach talking. They've done a great job of we're getting him ready when he's ready. We're good. The great thing about the Dodgers, they're good on pitching. They're just going to be better when Shohei gets there. That's a great thing.
Yeah. And I think it's showing that at least at this moment, I'm not saying from an overall perspective, that Shohei being the 14th pitcher with, you only get 13 pitchers, 13 position players max, that him allowing the Dodgers to have that 14th pitcher from a numbers perspective at this moment is more important than him actually pitching on the field.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, this, like you said it best. We have never seen anything like this. We've seen pitchers could have hit, whatever. We've seen, Tony La Russa used to have some pitchers, he'd pitch hit quite a bit. I can't remember the guy's name. He had a reliever that he pitched. The guy could hit. He pitched him quite a bit. Of course, Rick Ankiel came back later as a starting outfielder for being a pitcher, whatever. But, so we've seen some of that stuff, but we haven't seen a guy who's a freak on both sides. It's over 100 plus and maybe one of the greatest, It remains to be seen. He's not there yet. He's a young guy, whatever. He's a great talent. By all accounts, a great ambassador of the game and for himself, his country, and the United States. And, I just love the guy, and I know all the Dodger fans do.
Yeah. So there's several levels of being a great pitcher. Stuff is number one. The Dodgers love stuff, and so do scouts, and so do Dodgers fans. I mean, when – like Tanner Scott, we'll get into his fastball. It was only 95 the other day, but he can hit 98. But, I mean, the carry was over 2,400 miles of our 2,400 RPMs, which means it's spinning faster, which means it's not slowing down as much, which means if it looks 95 if it's registering 95, it looks like it's 100 to the hitter. And then the extension adds to that. So, obviously, stuff is the number one piece to that. I mean, there are guys like Greg Maddux. Of course, he did have great stuff because the stuff. When we say stuff, we mean like velo and carry and extension and just physical, like, oh my God, that kind of thing. That's kind of what stuff is nowadays. And so I'll say this, from a stuff perspective, to me, that's the first layer of any equation. I was floored with Roki Sasaki. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this guy is awesome. Now, I'll say this. Tap the brakes, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he just takes the ground running and he dominates from day one because he has the stuff to do that. But there are different layers to it. I mean, the execution layer. First of all, can he execute at all as far as being able to actually execute all of his stuff? And then the next layer would be, then can he execute consistently enough to be the type of dominating pitcher we need him to be? And then it would be, can he handle the pressure of everything that's getting ready to come his way? So there are a whole bunch of different layers to Roki Sasaki. But layer number one for me in terms of just the physical stuff that he threw south to home plate, wow for me.
He was unhittable. I mean, he goes back. You've heard me say this many times. It's no earth-shattering stuff here. It's like Blake Treinen's, slider, whatever, breaking out of the zone, and 14 inches out of the zone, 18 inches. It's unhittable. Sasaki was unhittable the other day. I mean, you look at that stuff. If those guys are on, I don't know how these guys ever get a hit off of them. That's amazing. I mean, like you mentioned, Tanner Scott. Here's the other part we don't take into account, Case. Me and you do. We coach, but there's seven. I don't know what Camelback Ranch holds. 8,000, 9,000, whatever the heck. Maybe 4. I don't know. There's not 50,000 people in the stands. It's not a big game. Tanner Scott, if he's 95 now, getting his stuff, getting his work on, he'll be 98 when he walks in. There's 55,000 people screaming. There's a one-run game. You're the dude. You're our guy. If he's who we think he is, handing the ball, he'll hit 98. He'll be back to 90. So there's that part of it that we don't take into account. With the spring training,
adrenaline,
these guys are getting their work. We don't take in that competitive fire, the adrenaline, the competitiveness of whatever, being in New York, being in Philadelphia, everybody calling you every name in the book, and you can't wait to shove it up there. You know what? And then that stuff. So
do you have that mentality, or does that scare you?
That's the deal. I don't know. Yeah. We've seen Tanner Scott.
That's the layer with Sasaki we're talking about. That's what I mean.
That's what we're talking about with Sasaki. Can he do it when the stands are packed and it's a clutch situation? Tanner Scott's been big time. I mean, you've talked about him before we even got him. We love the guy. We're glad he's with us, and we'll see how it goes. But that sort of thing is. It always comes down to the same thing, Case. Even when me and you, Guthrie High School, Stillwater High School, Glencoe High School, it doesn't matter. Do you? I mean, you call it sack, whatever you want to call it. When the guy walks on the mound, does he have what it takes?
Yeah,
The part I loved about Sauer the other day, he talked about. I was doing some homework before I got on there. Surprising to you, I did some homework. Sauer talked about how Dave Roberts said he knew he was going to Japan. He'd come out with a big smile on his face when he went out there. It's kind of like last year in the playoffs when he put his hands on trying his chest. I still love that. Still get chills thinking about that.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. You're my guy. Let's go. I mean, that when you do that with major league players, me and you have both done with high school guys. I did it with you probably one time. Not that you made 3 errors in the first game of the state tournament. You might have. You might have. But you were my starting third baseman the next day. So you know what I'm saying. That's a smaller version of what we're seeing.
I don't remember, Coach.
You didn't. All I know is you played your ass off. We won a state title. So anyway, that's even on my little version of a little American Legion in high school, like me and you both have done. It gets right down to these are multi-million-dollar players, but they need that. They need to see Dave Roberts again. I don't want to hear talking about getting ready to do a long-term deal with him. We can talk about that too. But me and you've been preaching for a couple of years. But anyway, when the guy walks out and he's got a smile, takes the ball from him, and go, "Hey, by the way, you're going to Japan." I don't know how you put it, but you're going to Japan.
That's cool.
He was shocked. But it's not because I'm being a good guy. Yeah. It's not because I'm Dave Roberts, Mr. Good Guy, I'm everybody's friend. No, I'm trying to we're past that deal. Last year when you're spending billions of dollars, where the hell we're spending, it's World Series champions or bust. There's no being a good old boy. Those days are past. So Dave's doing it because Sauer earned it. Yeah,
I would totally agree. But I do remember you pulling me aside and saying, "Hey, you're my starting third baseman," which means you are my starting third baseman. Whether you go 0 for 30 or 30 for 30, we're going to ride with it. You've earned it, and this is what it's going to be. And so that does make a huge difference for a guy like Matt Sauer. And on the opposite end, when you're a guy like James Outman and you get spotty at bats, and you know that you're on the opposite end of that, to where you know that they're looking for every reason not to have you out in the lineup, it makes it absolutely that much more difficult. So, hey, Coach, another stuff piece to it. So Roki Sasaki is going to be a very interesting situation to monitor. He's just so extremely talented. And then Yoshii Yamamoto, I thought he looked very good. But again, I said it a lot last year. It just seems like with his curveball, he's either throwing that thing and it's falling out of the sky and nobody can hit it, and he's throwing it for strikes, and it's the most unhittable pitch in the world, other than maybe his split finger. But then about 4 or 5 times a game, he'll hang it.
Yeah.
And then it'll get hit out for a home run once or twice. And it's like, man, and he did that the other day, but not worried about it. I think he's looked absolutely fantastic. But I wanted to get back to Tanner Scott.
Okay.
So I know modern day analytics, that some people like them, some don't. If you know how to use them and you know what they mean, we've been using these terms for 100 years. They just actually have given them very definitive names. So spin rate, it's just backspin, Coach. So how much backspin can you get on the ball? I mean, guys have been trying to put sticky substances and pine tar on baseballs for 1,000 years to try to increase the backspin on a baseball to make it carry and have better velocity, because the radar guns until about 15 years ago measured the miles per hour going over home plate, so it mattered that the ball didn't decelerate. So we've been doing this forever, but now they have a way to measure it. So the cutoff, you have 2 different types of fastballs. You have a 4-seam that's straight, and it gives that rising effect to the hitter because it stays straight and has a lot of backspin. Then you have that sinker or two seam that has a little bit of a right turn. So how do you determine what a pitcher should be throwing? So you look at their spin rate. If the cutoff's about 2,300, so if you're below 2,300, typically speaking, you're going to need movement for your fastball not to get ambushed, right? If you're above 2,300, you're going to be able to throw your fastball straight and still get hitters out, okay? That's basically how you use those metrics in a nutshell right there. So 2,300 being the cutoff, the backspin or spin rate on Tanner Scott's fastball, spring training at 95 miles an hour, which now keep in mind, it's going to climb to 98, 99, 100, okay? He's only 95 right now. The backspin already is approaching 2,500. 2,500, Coach. That's why his fastball is so absolutely devastating. It floored me. I couldn't believe it. I'd never really dove into Tanner Scott's underlying metrics. That just blew me away.
Well, that's what I was just talking about. He's getting his work in spring training. Not that the guy's, screwing around out there. Not that. He's getting ready for the season. He's getting ready for the regular season. He's doing his thing. Like I said, when you put 50,000 people, if you go to Tokyo and there's music playing the whole time, they're doing cheers the whole time. What a great environment, by the way. Something different we see in the major leagues. But you go over there, that dude's going to be lighting it up.
Yeah.
And it already tells you, like you just said, Case, the numbers speak for themselves.
Woo.
People like him. It doesn't matter. It comes right. It gets right down to it. Can he perform? That's going to be it.
Yeah.
People like him or not, who cares? I got a lot of people I like that are on the Dodgers. I got a lot of people I like that are on the Dodgers, and I got some that I don't give a crap about that are on the Dodgers. But there's a bunch of them.
Right.
And, we can talk about that later. But anyway,
100%.
Yeah. But that's out. So that tells you what he call him what you want. He's got a lot more in the tank. It's pretty damn obvious. Tanner's got a lot more in the tank, and I can't wait to see it.
I'm super excited about him. Hey, I wanted to bring this up, and I'm going to talk about it down the farm too, but I thought it was really cool. The Dodgers have an outfield prospect in the system named Bubba Allin. His name's Chris, and he's from Philadelphia. He's still excited the Eagles won the World Series. He's a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. And whenever I interviewed him, I thought I was going to get a cool story about why his nickname's Bubba, this or that. He's like, oh, the girl next door didn't know how to pronounce my name, so she just called me Bubba. So it stuck from there. It was one of those deals. So anyways, he hits an 8-degree line drive. We're talking a little bit more about the analytics type stuff. So 8 degrees is just the launch angle off the bat, which that's a really low launch angle coming off the bat.
Yeah.
So hitters are taught from a really young age. It's not the old school. It's not the new school. When you're hitting off a tee, hit the ball in the back of the net. I mean, you hear major league hitters talk about all the time when you're doing your tee work, I'm trying to hit the ball in the back of the net. So this has been going on for like 100 years. That's how you practice tee work.
Yep.
So to put an actual definition to that, the way that you'll hear a lot of instructors say now is hit a 10-degree line drive to the top back of the net. It's the same difference. It just has a definition to it. So I thought it was really cool. Bubba Allin, who I know has practiced that 10-degree line drive or that line drive to the back of the net directly over the pitcher's head, hit exactly an 8-degree line drive in his one at bat in spring training. And so I just kind of wanted to bring that up to another coach here, because I promise you, those are the types of things that like the really great baseball people in the Dodgers organization went, wow, okay, well, this is a guy that obviously has put a lot of work in.
Well, he does it under pressure.
Yeah, right.
He does it with the big league guys watching, with
right.
the organization guys watching. Case, we all know that we used to call them I shouldn't say, back in Legion days, we called them the 4 o'clock All-Americans. You get a 4 o'clock batting cage, these guys are raking. You put them in a game and they shrivel. They can't play. This guy did it in front of everybody and shows, I got one chance, here's what I did. So that shows a lot. Let's face it, it gets right down to it. Baseball is digging down deep. It can go on forever about, the 30% is it makes you a great hitter.
Yes.
If you're 3 out of 10, you're a great hitter. What other damn sport can you do that? There is no other sport you can do that. So, but this guy did it with pressure on him. That shows something right there. He's like, it's just a thing right there. So I love it. I love the fact that he proved it when the pressure was on. It could have been bad the other way for him. But that shows a lot about the guy's makeup. And you and I both know, I mean, the 4 o'clock All-Americans, don't when you get them in a game, they're not going to perform. It's the dudes. I used to have guys look like crap in BP.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't. I had a guy at Stillwater for me, hit 3-hole for me. He was my best hitter. He'd go to a camp or somewhere, and the college coach like, get that guy the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Yes. But I put him at 3-hole because he raked. He walked in there and started ripping people. He couldn't run. He couldn't throw. He had a torn shoulder. I put him at first base because he couldn't do anything. But all he could do was short to the ball, bam, and just rip the shit out of everything. Even his outfield hit hard. So, that this is baseball. I mean, it goes back to the same thing. Freddie last year, we all knew about Think. We didn't know he had a broken rib, whatever the hell he had.
Yeah. That altered several things.
Yes. The toughness, the guts, the biggest parts of mental toughness these guys have. And I love that part of baseball, Case. And you know I do. And that's the biggest part. That's the biggest part. You got to be able to handle that failure before you can be successful.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to click it over. You're seeing it too, Coach. This is Justin Wrobleski right here. I'm going to run this. Let me go ahead and hit the mute there. Okay, so what I want you to notice about Justin Wrobleski is the front. The Dodgers call this the front to back. Watch his curveball. So the front to back is meaning. So if you think of like a cube, okay, you have a top and a bottom. You have a left and a right. So whenever you think of a front door slider and then a back door slider, so that front door slider would be like to the outside part. The back door slider would be like to the back foot. That's front to back, right? So whenever you have a pitch that can start on the front at the front of the zone, end on the back at the back of the zone, that's working what the Dodgers call front to back. And so he's always had that big sweeper. And the thing about it is his fastball's always been really, really, really good. That's the front to back. Did you see that pitch right there? Let me back that up. Now watch how this pitch starts at the top of the zone at the front, and then it works its way to the bottom of the zone in the back. See that? That's the difference between Justin Wrobleski this year and Justin Wrobleski in the past, is the front to back that he's working with the different types of shaping that he is putting to his pitches. So he has the front to back there. See that front to back again? Let me play that again. And he got an out with it. Watch the front at the top of the zone. Okay, front at the top of the zone. Back at the bottom of the zone. That's front to back. So he has that shape. He can go north and south front to back. And then we know he has the big back foot slider where he can go front to back, east and west, left and right, if you will. See that there? And then he also has that big fastball that he can play up in the zone. So I'm telling you right here now, the way that Justin Wrobleski has committed himself. See the front to back there? Now, this is the east and west front to back. We just saw the north-south front to back. Here's the east to west. See that? Let me back that up one more time. Well, I'll show you where this pitch starts, and you'll see right. Let me get it right there, okay? See, this is going to start left, okay, out of the zone left, and watch where it ends, all the way on the other side of the zone. That is front to back, okay? It starts front here. It ends back there. And his ability, you saw the front to back, north and south, is starting the ball up in the zone and breaking it to the bottom of the zone. You saw the front to back starting it on the left side of the zone, the arm side of the zone, breaking all the way to the glove side. Justin Wrobleski has the fastball that's approaching 100 miles an hour. He now has the front to back breaking pitches, which he talked about whenever I had a chance to interview him about a month or so ago. Really cool stuff, but how cool is it to see Justin Wrobleski adding that element to his fastball? And if he can continue to execute that, this is not just a pitcher at the major leagues. This is a top echelon type pitcher.
No, look at the work the guy's put in. I mean, Case, you know him better than I do. I mean, he's an OSU guy. We love him, but look at the work the guy's put in. I mean, that is obvious. We're back to the point now where 2 years ago, I continued to talk about that. We lost our entire starting rotation. All these cats are rolling in from Tulsa and Oklahoma City and saved our bacon, basically. Yeah, we got to be the first round. I don't give a crap about that. We win the division by 14 games because these cats come in there and do their thing. A bunch of them aren't around anymore. We either trade them or they're hurt or they're not around anymore. But Robo is close. I mean, if the Dodgers weren't so loaded in pitching, I mean, he's walking out of camp with him. You know more about it than I do. Maybe he is anyway. I mean, he's walking.
I think Casparius gets that nod right now, but boy, Ben's a little
sure. I mean, but it's because the Dodgers are so loaded.
Yeah.
But we know how that goes. I mean, I don't want to be the Dr. Doom here. You know, we're thinking about the bad crap that could happen, but you know, it's great to know that Robo has put that work in. He's ready. You know, he's put himself in a position. If we had to use him, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Though.
Yeah,
because he's where he needs to be.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and I'll tell you what. One thing I really liked about what he said in an interview was, I made my major league debut, but man, I want to be actually not just filler. I want to be a guy that actually is somebody they rely on to be the meat and potatoes as to why they're winning. He's just such a competitive dude. The fastball already for Justin Wrobleski touching 97 miles an hour. Spin rate, there's that spin rate again. Again, remember 23 is the cutoff. 24.46. So you're talking about a ball that is not decelerating. So yes, it was 97. His extension isn't great. So that doesn't help him as far as the perceived velocity.
Right.
But that's a 97 that's looking about 100 to 101 to a major league hitter because of the amazing spin rate that he was able to put on the ball. Okay, so what do you think about Michael Conforto, Coach? I'm curious to get your thoughts on the young man the Dodgers brought over from San Francisco. Didn't have success at San Francisco, specifically at Oracle Park. Was okay away from Oracle Park. Was great on day games. What is your thoughts on him?
But a lot of people don't have great success at Oracle Park, and that's your name's Barry Bonds.
Right.
And he can hit it through. Doesn't matter what the damn weather is. He's going to hit. But, I know he started out slow, but he's coming on. He's a true professional. We're all hoping that he's the Teoscar this year. He's the guy. He's a veteran major league player. Case, we've talked about this a lot. I know you bring it up a lot. We've all talked about this, the culture. Not that the Giants don't have a great culture. They won World Series. There's Bruce Bochy isn't there anymore. He's in Texas, but they've had success over there. But he's a guy that he struggled last year. Get him in the Dodgers. He's surrounded by great professionals. I noticed he's really coming on here towards the end. As things get progressing, it's almost like I walked in that clubhouse going, wow, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Let me do my thing here. I love the fact he's a veteran. He's been there. He's produced. I think he's going to be a big boost for the Dodgers this year. I like the move. When he first got him, I was like, but you watch him in spring training. He's starting to fit in with the team. I'm not in the clubhouse. He may be a big jerk. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No. Andrew Friedman said the first piece to him was that he was a total fit in the clubhouse.
Yeah, well, the good thing of the Dodgers is we've done, and I've talked to some travel team guys, even on high school level. They recruit parents as well as kids.
Yeah, they do.
And they want the good kids, but they're not getting turds over there. They don't want dad is going to be a problem. So I know when they got Conforto, they did their homework on the guy. They're not going to pull a guy in the clubhouse that's going to be a cancer. So I'm glad to hear that. I knew that, but I'm glad to hear it from you. But the guy's is a veteran. The change in culture. Look around. First of all, you don't have to be the dude, man. We got 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's a good point, Coach.
3 MVPs right at the top of the order, and get out of here. Just hits. I don't know where they're going to hit him at 5, 6, 7. It doesn't make a damn. Hit 8 hole. Get out there and just rake, big boy. And you're a major league player. You've been successful. I'm glad he's a Dodger. I'll put it that way. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's set up to have a really good year. So Michael Conforto, no doubt about that. So let me ask you this: you got a kid that every time you've given him a chance, he's always come through. He's solid. He's there every day. You talked about, hey, sometimes you recruit the parents and everything's perfect. They're there every day. They never complain. You really, as a coach, there's times where you go, these people ought to be complaining because their kid probably deserves more playing time than I'm giving them. And they're still not complaining. That's Hunter Fiducia, okay? Every time the backup catcher that's on the 40-man, every time he goes in, he rakes in spring training. It's the only opportunity he gets. He does a great job. He doesn't complain. He just shuts his mouth and does whatever the Dodgers tell him to do. And yet it just seems like he gets passed over and passed over and passed over, although he is on the 40-man. So what do you tell that guy?
He's a manager's dream, first of all, Case. He's a coach's dream. That guy, I've coached him. You've coached him. it breaks your heart. The guy, you fill out a lineup card every day, and you're like, damn,
Or you have to send him to Oklahoma City.
Yeah. In my case, I never had to send anybody somewhere else.
Yeah.
I didn't have to send them to Glencoe when I was at Stillwater. I just felt like crap because the guy sat on my bench over there. But yeah, in this case, send him to Oklahoma City. But it's hard. Those are hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, there's nothing easy about this case, even on the high school level, all in major leagues. I mean, that's the great part about Dave. He's had the great conversations. He had those hard ones, like me and you both have had. Those are hard conversations. How do you explain the guy? I mean, it's almost like, you've talked about it because you got some relationships, some of these young kids who've got other chance. I hated Gavin Lux leaving. I mean, I get it, but, I hope he has a great year with Cincinnati. But, that's one of our favorite dudes, obviously. But, but he's getting a chance, and same way the Hunter, you're like, God dang, man. He's close, but, those are just tough conversations. I've got to send you back to Oklahoma City again. Good thing about it, you got Henny over there in your corner, man. It doesn't get any better than that to have Hen Dog over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, got to ask you this too. So you got a kid whose grandparents come in who only get to see him play once a summer, and they come up to you and they go, "Hey, man, Grandma, Grandpa gonna be here over the weekend. Just thought I'd let you know, Coach." So as a coach, okay, do you feel obligated to make sure that the grandparents and sometimes, like in minor league system, it's from across the world. Like Choi's dad would come from Korea, and then he would be there for like a week. Did you feel obligated as a coach to make sure that that grandparents, that set of grandparents, got to see their grandbaby play while they were there?
I think you can. If it's a World Series, I'm sorry, they're going to have to watch you in the dugout.
Well, of course.
But a regular season game,
we're talking spring training, a minor league game, that type of situation.
Oh, no doubt about it, Case. Okay. I mean, first of all, why the hell do we have you on our roster? Why the hell are you in that uniform over there if you're not able to play?
If I can't put you out there, then why do I have you on my team?
Even in the high school level, I mean, you're on the high school. I got you in uniform. Yes, you're good. My grandparents came from New Zealand. It's a 100-hour, whatever it is, 20-hour flight, whatever. They're coming in deck, and I'll get you.
They're going to be here tonight.
I'll probably start you and give you an opportunity, but yes, you can do that. Especially spring training, that's easy. That's a no-brainer. Yes, you got to do that. And seventh game of the World Series, they're probably going to have to look at you in the dugout, but.
Yes.
We'll get you a T-shirt and some champagne and beer afterward, but
we'll comp their tickets to the game.
Yes. We'll take good care of you later. But no, that's a great thing. I've had even the high school level. You probably have too. Hey, man, got grandparents in here that never seen me play. Okay, it's kind of like senior night for us, Case, at the high school level. You have senior nights. You want to start all your seniors. I always did that. I always start them, let them play a few innings. I felt really bad one year when we went to district play in Oklahoma. This was a very important game. This is a very important game that we had to win to host a regional.
Yeah.
So I didn't start, and this breaks my heart to this day.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's Glenn Spencer's son. The defensive coordinator. OSU, one of the greatest human beings. And
he totally understood. I'll guarantee
you that. The earth, he totally understood, and his kid was amazing.
Yeah.
But it broke my heart that I didn't even pencil him in that night because he came up and looked at the board, didn't see his name, and he would never. But I go back to that. I remember that.
That's your fault for scheduling a district game for senior night.
Well,
Coach. I'm disappointed.
Rain made that happen.
Rain out. Okay.
Yeah, okay. It was rain outs made that happen. You'll have the state. You've got to play the district game. So we canceled all these other games.
Yeah, right.
Get this district game in, and that's where we were. So, but you're right. I've coached 34 years. This one still bothers me and always will because of what you had to do. But that situation, is a different deal than spring training. Yeah, you're in a damn uniform. You're a Dodger. Yeah, we'll play you. Yeah. Let's go.
So I've said this many times, and I've caught flack for it. I get messages every time I say it. The Dodgers, like if Choi's dad is over from Korea, they will make sure that like he pitches on Tuesday and Sunday, so the dad gets to see him twice. Okay. And it's like you said. Well, if you're not good enough for me to be able to do that with, then we need to release you anyways.
Yeah, I need to send you to Oklahoma City if you're not supposed to be here.
Right. Yeah. I mean. So Matt Sauer, Dave Roberts, Dave Roberts goes out to the mound. He tells Matt Sauer, by the way, I have the entire conversation that the whole piece of the broadcast with Tim Neverett telling the story. It's fantastic. Go
Tim Neverett, Rick Mundy, my favorite.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they are awesome.
Rick
Yeah,
Monday
they are
is always-
absolutely awesome, Coach. Yes,
Whatever, man. I love
they are
those guys.
100% awesome. So Dave Roberts tells Matt Sauer that he makes the team. I mean, right after Matt Sauer gave up 2 runs, right? And so Matt Sauer's mom is from Japan, okay? And so I've said many different times, the Dodgers take care of their people first. They want the person to be happy before the ball player is. So I just wanted to just get this out there. If that part of that decision was the fact that his mom is from Japan and they're playing in Tokyo, if that played any part of it, do you have any problem with that decision?
Not at all. Because I know the other side of it, and so do you. If he's don't need to be there, they're not taking him. I really feel that way. But it's a borderline deal. It's kind of like, hey, am I going to play a freshman over a senior? Well, if it's Ethan Holiday, hell yeah, he's playing over the senior. But it's kind of one of those deals. Matt Sauer's earned his stripes, or he wouldn't be going. In my opinion, because it's in a spring training game. Let's go back to this.
So if that was the tiebreaker was his mom's from Japan. I'm not saying it was, but if it was, do you have a problem with that at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Because first of all, he's going because he deserves it. I mean, there might be, hey, if it's between him and another kid, and they're pretty equal, but Matt's mom's in Japan, hell yeah, he's going. But he's going because he earned it, not because I'm a good old boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't tell the difference between the two. There has to be some kind of tiebreaker, right?
Absolutely.
There always does.
Hey, we might even let Shohei play in Japan. He's kind of a favorite. I don't know if you've heard, he's kind of a favorite over there. We're probably letting him play over there.
Yeah, and so that kind of goes to if the Dodgers – there's no proof that Roki Sasaki is one of the 2 best pitchers on this staff. There's no proof of that. Now, we've talked about how the stuff blew my doors off, but we've also talked about there's different layers. So that kind of goes to the same thing. I mean, if you go to Tokyo, Japan, and you throw him because it's a whole different country and you're trying to corner the market, you're trying to create a big buzz, even though you have no proof he's one of your 2 best pitchers, do you have a problem with that?
No, heck no. Okay. Because first of all, the Dodgers don't need to create crap. I almost said I didn't say the S word.
I'm just getting these tough conversations out. I just think they're interesting to talk about.
Well, we threw Yamamoto last year there, didn't we? In Japan? Yeah,
right.
Because he's freaking good. That's why he threw. But
absolutely.
You can. Hey, if you have your cake and eat it too, however you want. All the cliches you want to use, cake and eat it too. I'm gonna throw Yamamoto in Japan. I'm gonna throw Sasaki too because he throws an unhittable pitch because they're trying to win the freaking game. Yeah, it's great that he's there. It's kind of like Shohei. Hey, boy, he's very popular in Japan, but he's a dadgum freak. That's why he's hitting for us. That's why he's playing for us. That's why we gave him all that money. So, no, I don't. I mean, throw him. I mean, if he's, you're right, Case. I mean, we don't know if he's one of our top 2 yet, but we don't know that he isn't, do we?
Okay, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
You may go over and get his what lit up. Kind of Yamamoto kind of did some of that too, but no, that you give this guy that kind of money, you're trying to win a game, let's go for it. Yeah, he needs a pitch. If that's what you feel. I'm not there, man. I'm not in coaches. I'm not in meetings.
Oh, no doubt.
They've got those dudes have forgotten more baseball than I'll ever know. I'm just a country ball coach here in Oklahoma, but but it is the same thing. In case you're the same way, there's a lot of things go into it, and me and you aren't going to Japan. We may be going to Hara or over here to over to Ponca City to coach, but it's kind of the same damn thing.
Yeah, it is. I just thought that was, the sour deal with his mom being from Japan, and then if Sasaki gets the ball, it's 2 international pitchers who, I mean, maybe they are the 2 best pitchers on the team, maybe they aren't, but I think it's pretty obvious why they are the starting pitchers. I'm just curious to see what the narrative is for Dodgers fans. I'm not trying to create any kind of controversy or anything. I just think it's a neat conversation to have. I love it because I talk culture all the time. We had the conversation about Chris Taylor. We've had the conversation about why Dave Roberts, although I think in the past he's made moves where he went, oh my God, wow, what just happened? But you tend to forget that he's made, for every one of those, he's made 15 moves that did work. But having said all that, we can cuss and discuss the X's and O's of Dave Roberts all we want, okay? And we can second guess, but I don't think anybody can doubt the fact that the best quality to Dave Roberts is his human element.
Yeah, he's in L.A. First of all, is New York or is L.A.? It's Showtime back with the Lakers. It's the Yankees. It's the whatever you want to call it. I mean, the Knicks, the Giants, whatever. They're the two biggest markets in the world, and they got the most microscope on their teams. You got a guy who's handled all that. I mean, he's dealt with a crap sandwich. Losing in the first round, winning the division by 14 games, losing the first round. Like I told you, Case, I still think he should have been the manager of that year because he lost his entire freaking starting rotation. Give me anybody else that can do that crap. The Braves did it last year; they didn't win anything because they didn't have a starting rotation. But anyway, so we can go on forever about Dave. That ship's already sailed. I mean, Dave Roberts has already
give him
proven
his contract, so we can stop talking about it.
Give him his contracts, keep going. The humanity, like I said, I'd go back to a lot of things. Who the hell's going to throw a dadgum bullpen game in the World Series? That's unheard of. Who the hell has the cojones? I'm going to throw a bullpen game in the World Series. Oh, by the way, I'm going to win.
And by the way, it wasn't a fun decision to make, but it was the right decision to make. We said that before the game.
Yes,
not
it was the right. It was the only decision. It was the right decision. Now, the next time we did, we got our tits ripped. Whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry for that language, but it was the right thing to do on that one too. Case.
Yeah.
The time he did the second time was the right thing. The great thing is the Yankees don't know how to cover first base or catch a fly ball or field a ground ball and throw it to third. But, so that all plays into that as well. But, there's a lot of things that went on that. Oh, yeah, that helped big time. But, there's a lot of things that went on to that. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry. The T word, man. I didn't mean to pull that one out. But
absolutely. No. Hey, Tyler Glass now. I wanted to talk about him, Coach. This guy is gargantuan. I mean, we know that, but I kind of wanted to get into some of just because in spring training, I mean, the results or whatever. I mean, sure. I don't even. I struggle to even look to even know who won the game. I mean, it is. I would rather win than lose, like Tim said the other day. But it always feels better to win than it does to lose. But it's more about the process than it is results. So fastball already 97.8, which is just ridiculous, and it sat. So it touched 97. So there's two different numbers. You have sit and hit. So your hit is how high it went. Your sit is what it averaged. So he hit 97.8. He sat 96.4. And he combined that with spin rate of 2612, which is 300 RPMs above what is recommended for a foot. So above 2600 is like top 10 elite of all time type spin rates. So you're talking about 97.8 with spin rate at 2612 and 7.5 feet of extension. So this is a guy that's throwing at 97.8, and literally to a hitter, it's looking like 105, 106. I mean, this dude is absolutely gargantuan, Coach. Just got to stay healthy.
You just got to stay healthy. That's unhittable. I mean, Case, we love the guy. I mean, it's unhittable. And again, I'll go back to the same thing. There's 8,000 freaking people in the stands. It's spring training. He's working. Yes, he's not trying to give up. He's still a competitor. He's still trying to get hitters out. But don't kid yourself. When he walks out there in front of 55, 60,000 people, a whole different animal is going to come out. So this guy is just, I mean, the things you're talking about are out there. This guy's poised for a big year. Like you said, it comes down to the same thing for everybody, though, not just him. Can he stay healthy? I saw, Garrett Cole all of a sudden for the Yankees. It looks like he's having some issues. So this crap happens everywhere from the high school level on up now, the injury. So, if Glassdown he stays healthy, sky's the limit, man, the way he's performing.
So what I'd like to say about that is it's kind of like a hitter in the middle of your lineup. You need to have protection. If you don't have protection on both sides of you, it's going to be harder to hit because you're not going to get as good of pitches to swing at. So why am I making that comparison to a pitcher? So if everybody else around you is falling to injury, then you have to take on, you feel like, at least in your own mind, you have to take on a little bit more of a load. I mean, you're still going to throw every fifth day, but then every time you go out every fifth day, you're like, damn, man, I need to get in the sixth because so-and-so's hurt and so-and-so's not feeling good. And so I need to make sure I get up to 120 pitches and I get into the sixth inning. And then so you kind of outstretch yourself because of what's happening around you. And then by July, you're one of those guys that's injured. So I kind of feel like that happened to Glasnow last year. So I really feel like the Dodgers this year, as they ease Ohtani into it, especially with all of the incredible, I mean, they have a pitching staff that's going to start in Oklahoma City that I think could make the playoffs in the major leagues. I'm not kidding you. Yeah. I mean, Justin Wrobleski and Bobby Miller, I think Ben Casparius might break camp, but I mean, Emmett Sheehan, and whenever he gets healthy, Kyle Hurt, it's ridiculous. So I think the Dodgers this year are better poised and have better depth to be able to pace Tyler Glasnow to the point where he can stay healthy. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree, because the Dodgers have so much depth on the pitching staff. Yes, these guys don't have to do it all, And if you get to where you get Ohtani back, where you go to a 6-man rotation, which is crazy,
yes,
unheard of, the dude's gonna get plenty of rest. He's surrounded by dudes also. So the way he's pitching, that dude stays healthy. I mean, he's a Cy Young type candidate. Yeah. I mean, he's got that type of stuff. And not only that, he's got that type of stuff, but his record's going to be good because he's got a great hitting lineup around him, too. So even on his bad days, he's still got a chance to get a win. That's not a case for everybody,
Yeah. Coach, I covered this on the last show. We're going to cover a couple of guys and then get out of here. We have a great comment here from Benjamin Su's son, and I covered this last time, and it's absolutely true. You have the high-riding fastball of Tyler Glasnow. You got the split finger of Yamamoto. You've got Roki Sasaki with the high rider. Then you've got the left-handed breaking balls from Blake Snell. You've got Shohei Ohtani, who's just a freak. So not only do the Dodgers have the most talent as far as the pitchers, they also have an incredible amount of diversity. So can you imagine being an opposing coach and having to sit down, first of all, having to game plan, how can I get my talent to match their talent, first of all, because the Dodgers have that much talent. And then also having to put into the equation the amount of diversity you're having to get ready for. I mean, that's an overwhelming task for other people. It should be, at least.
Well, yeah, I told you off the air, Case. I mean, I'm tired of everybody talking crap, Machado's talking about how they're going to do this. The Yankees talking about they're the better team. I'm tired of that crap. All I know is who got the trophy and whatever. You got This is the major leagues. We're not in middle school here where I'm sending you dirty texts, and getting in trouble with the principal because I'm sending you a abusive text, and I'm going to go to the principal's office for being a butthole. But, I mean, I'm tired of all that stuff. But, the Dodgers have that opportunity, where that stuff doesn't matter. It comes right down to it. I mean, proof's going to be in the pudding. I mean, we can run our mouths, we can do all that stuff, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to perform on the field. The Dodgers have proven they're able to do that. They've got new faces in there that can do that, and they got a great manager, great coach staff, great front office. You got everything they need to perform and to be successful. And just talk is cheap.
It is. It absolutely is. Hey, another guy that I wanted to mention right here. You're looking at Ben Casparius. This is a guy I've talked about. I won't go into I've talked about his journey so many different times.
Right.
How he's just that guy that's defined and redefined himself so many different times. Fastball 97.8. He's another guy who's approaching 2,600 mile RPMs on the spin rate. So his fastball looks 98. It is hitting 97.8. It's looking about 102, 103. And the fastball's never been his number one pitch. His slider. His slider that has over 3,000 RPMs on it has always been his crown jewel. So I'll have you talk about Casparius, what you think about him, but really more so in the chat. I think Ben Casparius will make the opening day roster. At least I think he has a really good chance to. I know there's a lot of competition, but somebody prove me wrong here. Where am I at? Why am I wrong if I say Ben Casparius does not make the opening day roster?
I think he almost has to make it. We're looking at a couple of injuries that's popped up, and some things. There's still some uncertainty about some things. And like I said, the guys performed. I mean, look at the numbers. Here, it's the thing about the Dodgers that they've got. And it's not us because we're the Dodgers daily. We love the Dodgers, and all of our people on here do too. But all the whiny asses out there, talk about all the stuff that I spent all this money and do all the. they're trying to win another World Series. One's great, but hey, we're trying to win a World Series every year. That just like the Yankees are, and everybody else should be. We know the Dodgers and Yankees are trying to do every year because it is what it is, and the Cardinals and the people that have won the most. But this guy has proven that he deserves an opportunity.
He does.
The only reason I assume I'm like you. I think he'll break camp with the Dodgers. And we don't know what's going to happen.
In Japan. I think he'll in Japan. I don't know about the domestic opener.
Right. He'll break in Japan to get some more. But again, those are important games. It goes back to the same old crap. Last year we're down the last series to win the division. Those are two important games. So, if he's going to Japan, he's an important part of the program, and he's close. And the only reason he's not going to the mainland, if he don't make the mainland run, because of the depth the Dodgers have. But as we know, Case, I don't want to go back to being Mr. Dr. Doom here again, but
sure,
we saw the last 2 years all the injuries that pop up, and
absolutely,
you can never have enough pitching. Nope. Tony Hawk, Stillwater, Casey Porter, Guthrie High School. It's the same.
Not possible. Hey, we have a question here from Ela Shiva, one of our wonderful, always just so supportive and always brings their A game in the comments here. Do you have any thoughts on Mookie Betts? I'll give mine, then I'll pass it over to you. I have been staunch on I'm not a fan of him playing shortstop, and it has not anything to do with how I think he'll actually play at shortstop. He's Mookie Betts. I will always bet on Mookie Betts. Whatever you tell Mookie Betts it is that he needs to do, he will figure out a way to get good at it. So Mookie Betts will be a good shortstop. I have no doubt about it. He'll be a good defensive shortstop. That's not my problem with it. If I end up having a problem at the end of the season with it, isn't the production I think you're going to get defensively from Mookie Betts. It's the toll it will take on his body because it's such a demanding position. When I don't think that it's that you needed to put that toll on his body. And my question is, because of that toll on his body, will it affect his offense? And because, in my opinion, it's Mookie Betts' offense is what this team needs the most from him.
No, and that's why we signed him. We signed Mookie Betts for his offense. He's a great Golden Glove right fielder.
Yes.
I mean, I feel the same way, Case, because as we all know in the history of baseball, your shortstop has the most errors because he has the most chances. He's going to get the most chances, most tough plays hit his way. He's going to be taxed the most on the infield.
Yes,
he's got to do the work. Not only that, the work he's putting in between. He may have to do extra work. But you're right. We signed Mookie Betts because of his offense. Not that he wouldn't. He's a great outfielder. Mookie can play everywhere on the field. He's that great an athlete, but I feel the same way you do. I'd love for Mookie to still be in the right field and us have some cat.
I'd like him at second.
Playing shortstop and eating it alive out there. Not that he won't, but, that cat, the Hoover out of, as we used to call him, out of shortstop. Yeah. Of course, I'm old. Back in the old days, the guy hit 210, but nobody gave a damn because he made every play at shortstop and strong in the middle back in the old days. Second base, shortstop, center field, catcher. That's what everybody wanted. Then the other guys are hitters. These cats right here got to be defensive guys. I know we've gotten away from that, the way baseball, but we really haven't. Let me get right down to it. You got to be strong in the middle defensively. Mookie will be a good shortstop, but I'd like him.
Is it worth the tax? Is it worth the tax? That's my question.
I don't know what his daily business is going to look like, but he's going to get a lot more work than he was in right field, or even second base, like you mentioned. He's going to be taxed a lot more, and I hate saying a lot more opportunities for a Nixon. It's kind of not like a catcher, but next to a catcher, he's got a better chance of getting nicked up out there.
So here's a harder one, and we're going to get to the ABS system, and then we got one more comment here than the ABS system, then we're going to get out of here on Dodgers Dogs. It's part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Sunday night in the big town. Rick Montoya, great question. Let's add another layer to our conversation earlier about the Matt Sauer deal, about, the tiebreaker maybe, if it is, the fact that so-and-so is from a certain place that you're visiting. So what if the Dodgers decide to send Hae-Sung Kim to Japan? I know Hae-Sung Kim's not from Japan, but still an international player trying to grow that brand. If they send Hae-Sung Kim to Japan because he is an international player, And that is the tie. It's not even a tiebreaker because, in my opinion, I'll say this straight up, I don't think he has deserved a spot on the 26-man roster or a spot to go. This is my opinion. You can disagree with that. Sure. I don't think he's earned the spot to go to Japan. So if I were to make the comment, I don't think he's earned that spot. But yes, he's an international player that has a lot of upside. What do you say to me then?
I say he don't go. That's what I said earlier about
That's
Sauer.
what I say. But yeah.
Sauer's going because he's earned it.
I agree.
It's great that his mom's over there, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, again, Shohei's going because he's a freak. He's from there, but he's going anyway. But no, this guy, if this guy's not going to be on your 25, 26-man roster, no, he don't need to go. I mean, first of all, you're proving, which they won't do. You're not going to show everybody else where, we're trying to get. First of all, the Dodgers don't need any help.
Yeah, and you're screwing another prospect.
You're screwing another prospect, and you're screwing the team, and they don't need help being popular in the world, especially in Japan. Are you kidding me? They're the most popular team in the world. My Dallas Cowboys are too, but they can't beat anybody. That's a whole different. Don't get me started on that. But the Dodgers going to Japan, they can walk in there, with a button. Nobody from Japan, they're going to love them over there. So it is what it is. No, if he hadn't earned that right, no, he don't go. That's why we went back to what the Sauer deal. Yeah. He's earned that right, or he wouldn't be going. I'll be totally disappointed, and I'm not going to be because I don't know Dave Roberts personally, but I've seen him and studied him and watched the guy because I'm a Dodger fan. The front office, they're not taking a cat just because he's from there and trying to be a feel-good story. There's two games that could determine the division, and we're not going over just to play around, be a good old boys. There's going to be music playing, crap going on the whole time. We got to win a couple of ball games over there against a good Cubs team.
Yeah. I hate to be negative. I don't mean to be negative, and I hope that's not too harsh.
That's not.
That's just really how I feel about that situation. And you know how we do roll around here. We like to give our interpretations of things. We like for our people in the chat to give their interpretations of things, and we like to talk about it. Okay, the ABS, we saw Hunter Fiducia. It was beer 30 yesterday, by the way.
I like that beer 30 comment, by the way. It is beer 30
Into the
right
game,
here.
last two games, umpires like, let's get the hell out of here. It's beer 30, and Hunter Fiducia challenges 2 in a row, wins the challenge, right? So the ABS system, it's the challenge system. I'm telling you, people have fallen in love with it. I'm telling you, before people saw it, they were like, oh, we need the automated, we need full-time robo. People have now seen the challenge system, and I'm telling you, I get a flood of messages about how much people love this system. It takes about 14, 15 seconds. It adds excitement because it puts it up on the scoreboard. It puts it on the screen for the TV viewer, and it holds. I'll tell you another thing it does, Coach, is it holds, here comes the second one right here. It holds the umpires accountable. So what's going to happen is, as umpires know this can happen, and they can get called out on their BS by a hitter or a pitcher or a catcher by not having a good strike zone, they're going to get embarrassed. And as they get embarrassed, they are going to clean up their strike zones. So what it actually does, it actually makes the human decisions of the home plate umpires a lot better because they know they can get embarrassed like that. So I think the ABS challenge system, of course, I probably have confirmation bias because I loved it going in. So I'm curious of your thoughts and people in the chat. I think it's been a wild success to the point to where people are ready for it at the major league level.
And I've told you this before, Case. I went to Oklahoma City, I think it's 2 years ago. I think Gavin Stone was pitching that night, actually. First time I actually saw this live with the challenge system, and it was great. It's quick. It's decisive. If umpires, they don't have time to get their damn feelings hurt. They're being held accountable. And what you're going to find out is on the other side of it, these damn umpires are good.
Some of them are. I think you're going to find out that some of them haven't been good. They've been arrogant. They've been arrogant over not being good. I think you're going to find that too.
Yeah, we know who those guys are.
Angel Hernandez would have been shown to be a clown. They'd have fired him after the first week if Angel Hernandez had this. But what I liked about it is it was quick, it's decisive. They show you on the scoreboard. It's a ball or strike. Let's get out of it. It's not like the NFL or the NBA or NCAA, all that other crap where they have all this replay. Sometimes they go on forever. Well, indisputable evidence. Well, the hell with that.
here's a strike zone. The ball's either in or it's not. I think it's great. I mean, I really like it. I mean,
I do too.
The umpires are held accountable. It's quick. It didn't slow the game down at all. More this college baseball crap that's going on where you got to look at the guy.
It's better than sitting there watching an argument for 4.5 minutes from a hitter who's pissed off that you just missed a call on him. That takes longer than the 15 seconds that it takes to figure out who's right.
Probably cut down on ejections. Probably going to cut down ejections.
It does.
The manager can look up and go, hell, that was a strike. The manager's going to shut
some of that's
his
good
mouth.
and some of that's bad, but all of the replay systems have cut down on manager ejections. No doubt.
I agree. That'll cut down on managers, and too bad Lou Pinella's not around to pull out third base and throw the damn thing out in left field. But anyway, I liked it. I liked it when I watched it in Oklahoma City. I remember telling you that first time I'd ever seen it live. It was quick. It was decisive.
Yes.
I'm not down there in the conversations in the dugout going towards the umpire. I don't know if anybody gave a shit or not, but I mean, they were getting the calls right.
They were.
And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, look, there it is, dude. Hell, that's a freaking ball. Get back in here. I mean, no, don't get your panties in what. If you can't take the heat, you shouldn't be a major league umpire anyway, or even on AAA level. So
yeah, I guarantee you, Don Dinkinger, who blew that call in the I-75 series between St. Louis and Kansas City in 1985. I guarantee he would have loved to have replay, and he would have gladly accepted the fact that he was wrong to get it right and to know that no one team got screwed. Whoever the umpire was on the pitcher that threw the no-hitter, the perfect game.
The perfect game,
I promise you that umpire would kill to have had the replay to where he couldn't have screwed that up. So the good umpires will love this because it'll make them better, and then it will also make it to where they can't screw somebody. Believe me, 99. Now there are umpires that are arrogant, that don't give a crap, and they get pissed at you and they have an agenda. There are the human element's always there. But I promise you, almost every single umpire, the last thing they want is to feel like they screwed somebody over. So they will be the ones, in my opinion, the good umpires will be the ones that will benefit from it the most because they won't be able to screw somebody over, even if it's by accident.
If they're going to get pissed off because the manager's yelling out the dugout, Case, me and you've dealt with that. I've had my catcher come back and go, umpire said, you think that's a bad call? Watch this one. So I'll use the words your dad used. Your dad, who umpired for 50 years in Oklahoma, college and high school level, your dad said, so you're telling me you're cheating?
Yes, absolutely. I'm
telling you right now I'm cheating because the next pitch is a freaking strike, no matter where it was. That shouldn't be in the game. I'm sorry.
No.
Get thicker skin, okay? Get thicker skin. So this is a way for those guys, hey, if I'm gonna be a turd, this guy's yelling at me and getting my feelings hurt, so I'm gonna screw his hitter. No, that crap shouldn't be happening.
Do it.
It's a strike or not. You're cheating. You're admitting to cheating. I don't mind you missing a pitch, or when I coach basketball, if you miss a call, you come over and go, hell, Tony, I may have missed that. I was like, okay, see you later. I'm going to go sit down. I'm not going to argue with you over that crap. But, but you're going to out and out tell my catcher, watch this pitch. So I'm fixing to screw you now again. So, that type of deal. We lost the dadgum regional tournament in Stillwater over a freaking pitches right down the middle. I'll never get over it.
I remember that.
We was going to state tournament. The guy flinched and called a ball. The next guy got next pitch, he got a base hit.
And he knew it, too. He apologized.
Sure did.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell you, I say that because Hunter, here you have an umpire who's ready to go. It's beer 30 to this umpire. It's a spring training game. It's the last two pitches of the game. Let's get the hell out of here. That was obvious. The second one was obvious to me. He's like, because the second pitch that he called a strike. So he calls a strike, okay, and the ABS shows that he's wrong. The second pitch is further outside than the first pitch, and he calls that a strike again. I was almost as if to say, This stupid son of a bitch isn't going to replay twice the last pitch of the game. We're ready to go, right? Well, hey, dude, Hunter Fiducia is trying to fight for a spot.
He's trying to make
the difference
team.
Between the salary of being in Oklahoma City and being in Tokyo, Japan? I mean, get your crap together, dude. So, I mean, for anybody who thought Hunter Fiducia, nobody thinks that, but it just pissed me off to watch an umpire think it was okay to taking it bad away from a guy who's literally trying to make the difference between making $60,000 a year and $800,000 a year. It's not okay to screw that guy under any circumstance.
No, I totally agree with it. It's like last year when JT Realmuto, one of our Oklahoma Carl Albert High School dudes, got thrown out by that umpire in spring training because he got pissed off because he dropped the ball in his bin. Whatever, get over it, dude. Wait, come on.
Yeah.
These guys they're making. I know it didn't cost him. It was a spring training game, but it's just a guy being a little turd, being a big baby. That type of deal. Yeah, you're right. Hunter Fiduci's trying to make
damn
the
right
team.
He is.
He ain't got every pitch.
He doesn't have the luxury to miss that at bat.
Every pitch, every play is important to him because he's trying to do something that a very small percentage of people in the world can freaking do. Yeah. Get over it. Get over it.
Yeah. Now he ended up striking out on a curve, but hey, that's on him. That's on him.
Yeah. What the hell?
I mean, that is absolutely on him. He had every chance to do. He was given every opportunity to take advantage of it in that moment. We have a question here before we're going to get out of here. On check swings, it will never work. And the reason is there's no way really to define it. And, by the way, whenever you replay all check swings, they all go every single time. So, I mean, literally like every check swing that would be replayed would be a strike. It would have to be. I mean, and how would you define it? I mean, is it the barrel going over the plate? Is the wrist snapping? Is it what the heck is a check swing?
Some guys will tell you, there's always a barrel. Then some guys say, well, if their hands go through the zone, I'm calling it. Your dad could answer that better. Terry would know more about that than I do. It's all, of course, we all know that I can't even, we had the umpire in the Legion down there that if you check the chief, you remember the guy's name? They called him Chief. Anyway, if you check to him, Chief, did he go? Yes. He went Chief's rule was if you ask me if you win, he would freaking win. But, that's back in the old days. It's like the block charge called basketball. It's almost – of course, this one's probably easier than a block charge call.
Yes.
Because a block charge is probably almost impossible to get correct. But this one is hard. I'm more pissed off about watching football. Why can't we get a freaking chip in a football and a line, a beam across the
first down line
between the first down and the goal line?
Yeah,
absolutely. If the ball, how about we got pylons over there with the cameras and crap in them? Can we not? If the ball crosses it, bingo, it's a touchdown.
Of course, then when's your knee down? That's all.
Oh, yeah, they got the same old crap. That's why they don't do it.
The Dodgers did lose a game. Daryl Jackson's making a good point to the Giants last year on an obvious. So, I mean, it's hard to say, no, they shouldn't be able to use the replay for check swings and situations like that. But then just being around the game for so long, I mean, I just don't know how that could work. I think there are always going to be certain parts to this game that can't be replayed. I don't know how you would do it.
I'll speak on the other side of it. I think a lot of times when you see a replay on a check swing, it's pretty dang easy to see. Now, if
get it right the first time, don't miss it.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're right there. The guy behind the plate, the guy on the bases, somebody needs to get that crap right before we. I
think the way you clean that up is to make their union not as powerful and make it to where you can actually fire their ass.
Yes,
that's how you clean that up.
Yeah, now you've missed. Here's your percentage. You're gone. We're bringing a guy. We're bringing a guy from the International League. He's got your job now. Or a woman. I don't care. Get them up there. If they can do the job, let them have it.
Yeah. Absolutely, Coach. Hey, this has been a wonderful show. I've taken a lot of your time. I actually lied to you. I said I'd have you for a couple minutes, and we've been on for quite a long time. But, I love looking at your face. You know me. Yep. Absolutely. I love looking at your face. I love talking to you. I just love you, period. So, hey, any final comments here?
Same thing here, Case. I always look forward to it. When you give me a holler, you need somebody to fill out some time, man, I'm your guy. I can talk. I love baseball. I love the Dodgers. Yeah. I love you and Terry and Beverly, unendingly. You know that. I got to talk to your dad the other day on the phone and made my day. So can't wait for the Dodgers. I'm looking forward to when they get to Japan. They're preparing before they get there. I like to look at it every day, see what's going on. And thanks to you and Austin, you guys are all over the number stuff. I'm just a guy who's kind of a fan, who's a baseball coach, and kind of gives my opinions about nobody cares about. But, I got an opinion about crap because I coach, but you did too. But, I'm looking forward to the start of the season, going to Japan. We got to get up 5 o'clock in the morning. That's pretty damn early. Same thing last year. Absolutely. Hey, dude, I'll never get up at 5 o'clock in the morning unless it's a freaking Dodgers.
You were not very happy the day after you got up that early and the Dodgers got their ass beat by the Padres.
No, I didn't.
That was the whiniest show of the year, by the way.
Hey, we got to do it again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully they'll win this time.
I'll be up drinking coffee. Call me. Hell, we'll do another one. If we win, we'll be.
Got our asses beat by the Padres.
We'll do the old Bob Uecker if we win.
Absolutely.
By the way, rest in peace to the greatest Bob Uecker. Baseball ain't going to be the same this year without Bob Uecker involved. So.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Hey, man, this has been awesome. Humble, way, way, way too humble as always. So, hey, for Coach Holt, I'm Casey Porter of Dodgers Dogs as part of the Dodgers Daily Network. As always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.